Thank you for your time and for the opportunity to share my experience as a young carer with you. So I'm Marjet Karssenberg, I am 23 and I live in a small village in the east of the Netherlands. I've just completed my studies in public administration and government management. And as already being said, I am a member of the Young Carers Working Group of Eurocarers and of a National Advisory Group of Young Carers, both established to ensure that the voices of young carers are being heard. I'm a young carer myself. In the Netherlands we go to the age of 25 while being a young carer. I'm a young carer for one of my younger brothers. He has Down syndrome, which means that he has an intellectual disability and several health issues, though none of them are life-threatening, but very annoying, all of them. He was born when I was 2 years old, so I have known no difference than having him and all the care tasks as part of my daily life. My brothers and I attended the same primary school, and since the village I live in is very small, everyone knew of him and his disability, and I always was the sister of the boy with Down syndrome. From the age of around 9, I noticed at primary school that children would often come to me instead of a teacher when something was wrong with my brother. For example, when he kicked someone, his way of saying no, or if he ran off. The school building was very open, so sometimes I could hear him shouting from across the other side of the building. I would then go to the bathroom, but instead I was just checking if everything was okay. At the time I never thought much about it, but in hindsight, isn't it strange? You go to school to learn and develop, but I was sometimes more focused on him than on my own process, even though it shouldn't have been my responsibility, and it wasn't. During secondary school, I went to a larger city, so nobody knew me there. I was able to build a life without being the sister of. But the worries about my brother and the situation stayed. How is he doing? How was his doctor's appointment this morning? Did my parents have a good meeting at his school? And what will his new workplace or home life be? Can my parents handle everything, and how can I support them with all their tasks? It made it harder to be mentally present and focus at school. During this time, I didn't feel safe to talk about the situation, afraid of the consequences. I felt misunderstood and people didn't know what to say. A common thing people often said was, "It is always so cheerful at your home because children with Down syndrome are always happy." Well, that wasn't the case, or at least that wasn't my experience. My brother could get angry too, just like everyone else. My parents were stressed because of the many administrative tasks and appointments, and even though I wasn't feeling well emotionally, I didn't want to burden them with my feelings. I wasn't saying anything to them. Also, I would not let friends come to my home often because of the situation. Together, this led me to become very closed off about my home situations and me feeling very lonely at times. I found the support I needed through the local welfare organization. I participated in a so-called girls group. Once a month, we met with a group of young carers and a professional, and we could freely talk about how things were going and what was happening at home. We enjoyed fun activities and understood each other without needing to explain everything, and without actions from the professionals that we didn't want. This recognition of both the beautiful and the difficult moments allowed us to let go for a while and feel understood. It helped me become more open and eventually motivated me to advocate for other young carers, as I believe that awareness and appropriate support can make growing up as a young carer much easier. I was lucky that such support existed in my municipality, but this is not the case everywhere in Europe, nor in the Netherlands. The amount or the quality of the support is still a postcode lottery. It depends on where you live, and that's not a lottery you want to be in. And now I can say what a young carer means to me. I don't like burdening others with my struggles. I tend to keep my true feelings hidden. I felt very lonely and misunderstood at times. And being a young carer has contributed me to temporarily stopping with my studies about 2 years ago. But it also means that I have a very kind and loving brother. I grew up more quickly than my peers. I always look at the possibilities and I see the valuable in every life. Being a young carer is a beautiful experience when you are able to turn that experience as something positive. But there comes a point where it can become overwhelming if there's no appropriate support in place, or if you have no access to that support. It would have helped me if the topic of young carers is not taboo, that society everywhere in Europe is aware of our situation, so that we, all young carers, can talk openly about our situations and our needs, that we are being taken seriously, and that we receive the support that we need. Supporting young carers should not be seen as a cost item, but rather as an investment that prevents that the young carers of today don't become the cared for in the future. For this, in my opinion, it's essential that the topic of young carers is explicitly included and mentioned in policies. That there comes a report on young carers for better data in the EU, and that recognition and a legal framework for young carers are established, so that we, all young carers, are seen and heard, so that we can shape our own futures, and so that we have the same opportunities as all other young people. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your testimony and for being here. And now I open up the floor for the members.
Thank you. I will answer the question in Dutch because that's easier, if that's okay. Ja, als het gaat over bewustwording, dan geloof ik dat het altijd de eerste stap is in eigenlijk alles wat er gebeurt. Dus als er geen bewustwording was geweest bij een ouder ergens op het schoolplein bij mij op de basisschool, dan wist ik ook nooit dat ik een jonge mantelzorger was geweest. En daarmee speelt bewustwording zowel in de maatschappij als bij professionals, als bij beleidsmakers, altijd als een soort van eerste stap. En daar is ook dat onderzoek weer belangrijk voor, omdat je met dat onderzoek weer beter kan aantonen op welke manier of op hoeveel jongeren het gaat of welke druk zij ervaren. Om te laten zien, om weer bij te dragen aan die bewustwording. En om uiteindelijk ook te laten zien hoe soms mooi en soms moeilijk het kan zijn om een jonge mantelzorger te zijn. Dat professionals dat inzien, dat jongeren dat zelf inzien. Om ook vervolgens te kijken, wat hebben dan die jongeren nodig? Welke ondersteuning hebben ze nodig? Welke wettelijke basis is er bijvoorbeeld nodig om die ondersteuning in alle lidstaten daar te krijgen waar het nodig is? Dus ik denk dat bewustwording altijd de eerste stap is.